Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a video about an older theme deck that is still very strong in our current theme deck meta. A lot of the times there is kind of a general power creep in Pokemon, so a lot of the older theme decks you kind of want to ignore. I've done videos about some of the strongest theme decks, from Charizard to the new Charizard to Drednaw, Dragonite, which is still one of my personal favorites. However, there is one often overlooked theme deck that is back from the Lost Thunder expansion a couple years ago that is still very, very strong. And that's the deck called Stormcaller that uses this Raikou and also has an Ampharos in it, as well as a Zebstrika and even a Naganadel. So let's hop right into this list so we can see how to win with this underrated theme deck. Alright, so to start off, just glancing at the theme deck, we have quite a variety of cards. I think a lot more kind of one-ofs and different situational cards like Energy Switch, Escape Rope. We even have one copy of Ultra Ball, which is things we don't usually see in a lot of theme decks. As far as draw supporters go, we have kind of the regular How, as well as a Kukui, which is a damage booster that also draws. We have Copycat. We have a variety of supporters that are all useful in different situations. Now, of course, the downside of these one-of supporters is when you only have one copy of a card, it's less likely that you draw what you need when you need it. However, so many of these supporters are draw supporters or search supporters. There's really not any supporter here that doesn't do something for you to actively further your strategy. So that's very, very good. Even though we do have a lot of one-ofs, Kaili is a reusable supporter, should you flip well. Speaking of flips, there is Timer Ball in here, just like the Charizard deck. So there's a few coin flip stuff, but nothing that is like utterly detrimental unless you really need that Timer Ball to go off, which there's only like a 25% chance that it fails completely. But basically, when it comes to playing this deck, right, your goal is going to be to get out Ampharos as fast as possible, right? In addition to Ampharos, you do have the draw engine of Zebstrika, which is similar to the built-in draw engine that the Dragonite deck has with the Pidgeotto. Zebstrika is an amazing draw engine. It is only a 1-1 line, 3-1, so you can get the Blitzel out. You do only have one Zebstrika, so if it's prized, that can be a struggle. But once you get out this Zebstrika, you are able to cycle through the deck much faster than almost any other theme deck, and you will be able to get to see a lot of these cards that you only have one copy of that can be used in a lot of different situations here. You also have two rescue stretchers, so once a Pokemon goes down, let's say Zebstrika is knocked out, it is pretty easy to just get that Zebstrika back. Same thing with this Ampharos. Now, like I was saying, Ampharos is the Pokemon you want to get out first. Once during your turn, you can put 2 Lightning Energy cards from your hand into the Lost Zone. If you do, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So paralysis in theme deck format is actually really, really powerful. It's one of the strengths that the new Drednaw deck has. Now, being able to paralyze not only by using a specific supporter, but being able to paralyze as not part of an attack, but on demand for only 2 Lightning Energy in a deck that plays 20 is really, really strong. So this can stall Dragonite, it can stall Charizard, it can stall Kyogre, a lot of things. Not to mention Drednaw and Kyogre, like the water decks, a lot of them are weak to lightning. Even Inteleon is weak to lightning. So having a mostly lightning typing is really, really good. Speaking of typing, your big weakness is going to be fighting, since you're weak to fighting with both Ampharos and Raikou, and even your Blitzel is weak to fighting. That type weakness is actually covered by a Naganadel in here. A lot of fighting Pokemon in theme deck format are actually weak to Psychic. So Turning Point, which is actually, with charging up, you can get 3 energy onto a Naganadel pretty fast for theme deck format. You're doing 80 times 2 with weakness. Not to mention, it's not just for fighting Pokemon. When you get to that 3 prize card threshold, which because theme deck format, you're always going one prize at a time, is rarely going to be a situation where there's a game that doesn't have that 3 prize turn. You're able to do 160, which knocks out so much. So many Pokemon are knocked out by this turning point attack in the Naganadel. But it also gets energy back from the graveyard that you can use Energy Switch to move around that lightning energy. So overall, this deck has a lot of options. I haven't even gotten to one of the main strength attackers here. Raikou Lost Voltage. For only 2 energy, you are doing 120 if you have lightning energy cards in your Lost Zone, which you should be able to get with this Ampharos, banishing the lightning cards and then attacking with the Raikou for 180. So early on, you can get an Ampharos out, you split bomb, doing 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So you want to strategically put the 50 damage in places that the Raikou can then sweep up. So let's say your opponent has a 170 HP Pokemon. You use split bomb, you put 50 there, maybe 50 on an unevolved basic with only 50 HP, or maybe 50 on another basic that you know will become a 150 sized Pokemon, right? So you can split bomb, set things up for knockout, and then just take those easy sweeps with Raikou. 120 is also a good number in theme deck. One-shots, Tornadus, Thunderous, stuff like, there is a lot of Pokemon that are at that 130 threshold, which you can deal with Kukui here. You just have a lot of choices and options in this deck to counter a variety of different strategies, not to mention your weakness covers. In terms of your, like, I call them like the useless Pokemon, but like the draw Pokemon. So instead of like a Grimer or something, you have Smeargle, which is actually really interesting. The Stunning Lightness. Your opponent reveals their hand and you can use the effect of a supporter in their hand. Although this is like a little random, and your opponent is kind of not going to want to try and keep supporters in their hand. A lot of times there aren't a lot of ways to discard in theme deck format, so if they have 3 supporters in their hand, they're not going to be able to get rid of all 3 of them if they see you have a Smeargle. So a lot of times Stunning Likeness will just work and you'll be able to use a Howl from their hand, draw 3 cards, maybe a Lily, maybe something like that. It's not perfect, but being 80 HP, 1 energy attack, it is not bad at all. In addition to that, you have a Frofro, which lets you draw cards so you have 5 in your hand. It's not as strong as, say, like the Wish Cache from the new Drednaw deck, but it also does damage, so 20 damage can bring something closer to a range of knockout, especially when you're also spreading 50 to the bench and doing 100 damage with a Raikou. And it also has a base HP of 90, which is pretty big for just an early, like, turn 1 draw card, so you can place things down and draw with Frofro. I think Frofro is actually not bad. And I don't think it's terrible at all. I think there's worse of the, like, useless just 1 attack Pokemon that let you draw, like, I can't remember what deck it's in, but there's one that, like, makes you draw with your opponent and just bad stuff like that. So I think this deck is actually really, really good in the theme deck meta, especially right now, because I have been playing in the theme deck events, and I've seen a ton of the new Drednaw deck. People are playing the Drednaw deck partially because it counters Charizard fairly well, in that the Magcargo can't knock out the Samurott, and you also just hit fire for weakness. You have a lot of varying attackers of different energy thresholds. You have a Cramorant, you have Drednaw, you have Samurott. You essentially are able to handle almost any other deck in the format. So we can take advantage of that lightning weakness here with this Lost Thunder Stormcaller deck. And like I said, this is one of the few older theme decks that is now even more relevant today because of the powerful Pokemon that we have in the theme deck meta. I think a lot of the old theme decks are really not worth your time, but this one most certainly is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, as well as leave a comment and let me know what else you're interested in. I've made a ton of videos about the different theme decks and how to be successful with them. If you're a new player, I highly suggest you get one of the really strong theme decks and then go over here into events and enter the theme deck events. For each game you win, you'll be able to get a tradable pack, and that's one of the best ways to get tradable packs without spending any real life money for it. So we all love doing that. I have some videos also on my channel about standard and theme. I'll be posting some expanded stuff too, as well as just like some other wacky stuff I'm working on. So hopefully you enjoy that. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Yeah, have a great day. Software